Hello everybody, my name is Jim and I wanted my first video on this channel to be a Booktube Newbie Tag. I don't know if anybody really cares to hear my answers, but that's really why I'm doing this first. So that, you know, if it's gonna be ignored, that's fine. I'd rather, you guys watch my book reviews. I think that those would be a lot more helpful than this, but I did kind of want to introduce myself and explain why I'm here on YouTube, joining the slew of booktubers that already exist on the site. So without further ado, I am going to start with the first question. Why did you start this channel? I just started reading again not too long ago, a couple of years ago, and I have found that books tend to elicit a response a little more than TV shows tend to do for me. I don't really watch TV. I don't really care for TV. I don't watch movies. But books, I feel like my imagination runs wild. Therefore, I come to my own conclusions and I kind of want to see if other people come to those conclusions. I'm not like into vague plots where everything is left up to interpretation, because that can get a little dangerous over time. But I do like to discuss some thoughts that I've had about some books, and I feel like having a booktube channel will allow me to do that and will allow a conversation to happen with other people just based on other booktube channels that I've seen. So yeah, lots of reasons why I started this channel, but that's the main one. I just like to have that conversation with people, and I don't really have that outside of YouTube. What are some fun and unique things you can bring to YouTube? Well, I just recently started reading, as I said. I feel like everything is from a brand new perspective. So, if a learned reader, I guess, happens to stumble upon my channel and they hear me saying things about, like, I don't know, Stephen King that everybody already knows, like, this is my first dive into Stephen King, so this is from a new reader's perspective. It's a little bit more raw, a little more uninformed, because I know that there are certain authors that people gush about on BookTube. I can't gush about anybody yet. I can gush about individual books, but I have not found that author that just speaks to me. But I have read Stephen King. I have read, other authors whose books I've enjoyed and I will continue to enjoy. Natasha Bowen. I really enjoyed her Skin of the Sea book, which I plan to review first. And I have already purchased and am going to start reading soon her sequel to that. I think the new reader perspective is something that's lacking on YouTube. And that's what I want to bring, because I feel like it's authentic. There's no bias behind it. And of course, as this channel progresses or gets older, the bias is going to be introduced, and it's gonna start leaking in. But I do want to start now where I don't have that built up yet. So hopefully this will be good for people who are also just starting. I've read a range of books so far, not many, but I've dipped into it because I don't know which genre I like most yet. So yeah, hopefully this is just, I don't know, beneficial to the new readers, and some older readers can kind of reminisce on how things were when they were first starting to. I don't know. What are you most excited for about this new channel? I think I've already said it. Speaking my mind, giving a really authentic, unbiased view on certain books. I'm really excited about potential conversations. Like, I don't know if this channel is going to be big or not. If we have a conversation, I would like that. I think I'm most excited about that. Obviously, civil conversation. I don't need people telling me that my opinions are wrong, especially if they're opinions. But I do like learning. And if if I have a book review and I just miss something completely, I really look forward to the comments saying, you skipped over this. This is a really important part of the book, and this is why a certain thing happened, blah, blah, blah. Why do you love reading? I think I kind of answered this one too. I like it because it takes me out of life, my real world. I'm able to use my imagination a little bit more. Most of the books I read, they don't have illustrations really painting a clear picture. So, they have to do a good job world building and character building. They have to be descriptive, and I love taking those descriptions and just kind of closing my eyes and soaking them in and putting myself in that place. What book or series got you into reading? So, none. It was actually I'm gonna drop a few names, but Murphy Napier, Michael Knipp, My Name is Marines, Alexa Dunn, Daniel Green, Bow Ties and Books, Year of the Author. All of them got me into reading. I kind of went through and I looked for suggestions, and I just wanted to hear some of their non-spoiler, I guess, reviews of certain things. A lot of the books that they've reviewed, a lot of the books that they've reviewed so far I have not picked up, but just listening to how excited they were to talk about books and some of the suggestions that they gave, I did pick up a number of suggestions, like Murphy Napier recommended Everybody Sees the Ants. Love that book. Year of the Author, I think her favorite book is We Have Always Lived in the Castle. Read that at the end of last year. Love that book as well. So, I feel like these people are trustworthy as far as their book recommendations, and their recommendations are the reason I started reading again. If I were to say a book, it would be Buried Beneath the Lies by Gina Herron. I consider her a friend, and I wanted to read her books to support her, and just kind of get a feel for how she writes. And there's something really special about holding your friend's art in your hand and reading and just looking at it and being like, wow, she did this, she made this. So Gina is a really special person, and she her book is actually the first one that I read. So if I were to give credit to a book, and as well as a person, then Gina's book, Buried Beneath the Lies, certainly gets that acknowledgement. What questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? What do you recommend? What challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? Not showing my face, at least for a little bit. And the reason is because I am gay, and it's not that time. Like I need a channel where I can be out and I can talk about that experience freely. If I read a book about, I don't know, growing up gay, or gay relationships, things like that. I'm not fully out to everybody. There are a number of people that I'm out to, but it's just safer where I currently am not to show my face and be a totally public figure right now. I think that's going to be the hardest to overcome, because like I said, a lot of people do like seeing videos where people show their face, but it's just not something that I'm personally ready to do. It's not that I don't want to do it because I'm insecure or anything like that, because I am currently in a relationship. I'm doing fine. Like I do have some confidence there, but it's just that part of my life I'm not ready to publicly blast out there just yet. But I do need an outlet where if I read a book about those specific experiences, I do want to be able to speak on them from my perspective, just because I think that's important. If something is accurate or if something is harmful, I do want to step in and say that. But I also, need the on this channel to know that that is my experience, because otherwise, it's like, well, how do you know this stuff? You know what I mean? I don't want to come across as ignorant on the subject matter when I have lived that subject matter. When did you start reading? So I answered this one as well, but it really was just, it was in 2020 or 2021. We were still under quarantine. I was bored. I needed something else to do. And I picked up a book because I feel like, being holed up all the time, you just need something else. And since I work with computers all day, I didn't want to find some TV series to binge, because I needed a break from the screen, basically. And reading is pretty much all that you could do. Where do you read? So right now my house is pretty empty. I read at my desk. Obviously, that's probably not the most ideal place, because I have a computer here and I have my TV next to me. So that's not a really good situation, because both of those things like to distract me. But I do hope eventually to have a specific room in my house where I just read, just kind of like a little lounge area, not an office, because I don't want to bring my computer in there, but just a room where I can get away and not be distracted and just focus on the book. And I want that room to be the most decorated in the house. I want it to always be cozy. I want it to always feel like Christmas in a way, just because I feel like that would put me in the mood to read. It put me in a very calming mood. So that's where I would like to read. But right now, I'm reading in a place where there are a lot of distractions, and that is not good. What kind of books do you like to read? I don't know yet. I read a few historical fictions, and I did like those because, again, I like to learn. But I do get burnt out on that, because a lot of historical fictions tend to lean sad, just because history is not the most uplifting, happy story to read about. But I do enjoy it just from, the position of someone who likes to learn and the education that I get from it. What does your book collection look like? And I just answered that. It's mostly historical fiction, I think, with everything else kind of mixed in. I do have a few horror books, but they're mostly novellas. But there are a lot of books that I have not gotten to yet. I do have some in my collection that I haven't read. I do have some books that are just South Carolina authors, just because that's where I'm from originally. Obviously, if Gina Herron writes another book, I'm going to purchase it just as a friend, and the fact that I actually really enjoyed her novels, and I plan to review those too. My book collection is very new, and that's it. So I hope that you guys enjoyed me answering my questions as a booktube and a book newbie in general. I hope that you enjoy this channel. I hope that I can provide some entertainment. And yeah, I've been Jim. You've been great. Thanks for watching.